310864. Station's your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
We need to get community. We need this thing to be bigger than just our little circle of players and coaches.
Are you kidding me? Touchdown, Oregon.
With 2 seconds on the clock. He hits it!
That's the bigger picture in this thing, allowing the community to celebrate the hard work, blue-collar mentality this group brings to the table.
And the Ducks have won it! The Ducks have won!
We get to struggle together, and we get to have joy together.
The Ducks are Pac-12 champions!
I am so proud right now to be the head coach at Oregon.
Oregon's a Fiesta Bowl champion in a 12-win season.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
You know, it's a fun day around Oregon Athletics. We're getting ready for women's basketball tonight. We're also getting ready for men's basketball tomorrow, women's basketball on Sunday. Indoor track and field season gets underway. And I just went over to the SID office, the Communications Office, Sports Information Directors, Nate Kruger, Will Patterson, Todd Miles, Greg Walker, Zach Lawson, Chris Brown, their entire crew, Matt as well. Mosley's even over there sometimes. Well, I go over there and Will Patterson just hands me a stack of all of the men's basketball posters so far. If you're not familiar with this, it's the men's basketball poster series, the game day poster series. University of Oregon students design these posters. They are for sale exclusively at the Duck Store. And the artist themselves benefits from it when you buy the poster to put up in your, in our case, studio or in your bedroom. But look at it. So, played on New Year's Eve, right? The ball was dropping. The USC and Oregon one from December 28th, very like Trojan horse-style duck. I think the duck wins the fight. And then I've shown this one before, and we haven't put it up yet, but the Michigan game, it was a sweet one where like a Wolverine was fighting a duck, and I'll tell you, the duck looked like he was going to win. The poster series has been awesome. And also, those of you that aren't familiar with my shenanigans, because I famously hate wearing suits, like honestly, why would somebody put a tie on if they didn't have to? Honest question. Just ask yourself that. Who actually likes wearing a tie? Knight, you like wearing a tie? Knight just raised his hand. Why? You collect ties. Okay, well, my version of that, I collect socks. And the reason I did this once upon a time is I hated wearing suits, but there was a period in basketball where, like, before 2020, honestly, every coach, everyone sitting at the table, they always wore a suit and tie. And I just, you know the truth of it? I hate wearing dress shoes. Like, it's a new phenomenon that dress shoes are actually comfortable. They weren't comfortable ever, right? Well, so I decided, all right, well, I'm gonna wear like good-looking Nikes. We're at the University of Oregon, for crying out loud. And then I wore like fun Oregon socks. Well, Will Patterson, the sports information director for men's basketball, just handed me a pair of socks that have actual ducks on them. Look at this. Actual ducks. Well, those of you who are watching, it's a little out of focus. But actual ducks. Not bad, huh? Anyway, the point is, I just make a trip over to the communications office. I walk away with posters. I walk away with socks. I mean, what a day. What a day around University of Oregon athletics. There's nothing else going on around college sports. There's not a thing happening. But we do have women's basketball coming up tonight. It's going to be a good time. Chris Clayton, along with Bev Smith, will have the call. The Ducks getting ready for Arizona State. It's a 6:30 start coming up this evening for our broadcast, and a 7 o'clock tip-off at Matthew Knight Arena. Both teams are looking for a win in Pac-12 play. Tremendous opportunity ahead for Oregon women's basketball. I've been saying it all week. I think this could be a swing weekend for the Ducks. Chris Clayton, Bev Smith coming up tonight across the airwaves at 6:30. We'll be at Matthew Knight Arena. And Kelly Graves talked with the media this week. We begin our show there. Also, we'll have Grace VanSlooten, a little bit from Phillipina Kyei, and then a look around men's basketball. Don't look now, but Oregon's alone in first place in the Pac-12 standings. Arizona State dropped one. So, nothing going on. Not a thing happening. Slow news week. Let's hear a little bit from Kelly Graves as he previews Oregon's homestand against the Arizona schools this weekend.
All right. Who's going?
Looking forward to being back home this weekend and benefiting from that maybe a little bit?
Very much looking forward to being back home. It's been nearly a month since we played here, and the road wasn't that kind to us, even though there were some good things we can build on. But, yeah, it'll be great to be back in the friendly confines.
Your group's shown some resiliency. I mean, that kind of bounced back in a way with the performance at USC, but at some point you got to be rewarded with victories, right? I mean,
I don't know what happened to Coach Graves' audio. I was going to make a joke about how it was Rob Mosley talking there and something ended up breaking a microphone, but I can't make that joke. We're going to reboot some things and make sure that you can hear a little bit from Coach Graves. But in the meantime, we also were going to let you hear a bit from Grace VanSlooten. She talked with Chris Clayton earlier this week. Great conversation with Chris. I mean, this is a leader on a team that has, I think, gone through a lot of adversity and as a sophomore has really had to elevate as a leader. Let's hear a bit from Grace VanSlooten while we sort out what's going on with KG.
Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Of course. Happy to be here.
Coming off the trip to Los Angeles, the games against UCLA and USC, two top 10 teams in the country, you had a big-time game leading the team in scoring Sunday with 18 points. What allowed you to have so much success in that game?
I think just being aggressive and, Phillipina Kyei, she started off strong, put a lot of focus on her, and that allowed me to, get to the rim and get my buckets.
So as a team, those were a couple tough games. UCLA, you didn't have your leading scorer in the backcourt, Chance Gray. USC, you fought to the end.
Right.
How do you think the team can learn from these experiences and grow from it moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think playing these games right off the road, the first 3 games of conference were tough. But I think every game got better, and I think we're going to learn. We're going to, obviously go through experiences that we don't know. We lost, that grad student experience from Peyton Scott. She was a leader, everything like that. So we're learning, and, we're going to take it game by game and just watch the film, find out what we can do better, and just take baby steps.
Talking with players and with Kelly Graves this year, it seems like the team, he's so proud of how hard everybody's played. Your record is it's not where you want it to be right now, sitting at 9-7, but it just seems like the tenacity and the passion has gotten better game to game. Where do you think that comes from?
I think it just comes from everybody wanting to be great. I mean, we all want to be good. We want to win. We're a really tight team on and off the court, so I think it's just that playing for each other. We want to hustle, we want to play hard, and we want to play scrappy.
How have you seen the team improve offensively, especially this year? I mean, USC, you had that 21-point third quarter. You climb back. How have you seen the offense take steps forward this year?
I think we're slowing down. I think we started off kind of, hectic and wanting to get quick shots and maybe not taking some great shots. So we're learning how to, play more into the shot clock. Great shots, not good shots, everything like that. Just people finding their footing in the offense.
Let's talk about you as a player. Going back to last year, a great debut season with 13 a game. You're up to 16 points a game this year. You're top 10 in the Pac-12 in points and rebounds. How do you feel like you've grown as a player and improved here in your sophomore season?
Yeah, I think my off-season was really important. Worked a lot on my perimeter game, mid-range shots, and I think that's transferred well into the season. I think just being more aggressive and making some tough decisions. I think obviously I still need some work on making some of those decisions. I think I take some bad shots every once in a while. But yeah, I mean, I think the offseason was really important for me. I think I improved a lot.
And you were able to hit a three-pointer this weekend. How do you feel like your perimeter game is coming along?
I think it's coming along well. Obviously very different. Last year I shot primarily layups, and it's been different, but I'm learning the ropes with it, and I'm just going to take every game as it comes. I know I'm not going to make every shot, and I just need to remember that for me personally, my mental. But yeah, I mean, I think it's coming along well.
And let's go back now to you as a player. You're coming out of high school, a top 10 recruit in the country. With your memories from basketball growing up, at what point in your life did you kind of realize you were a little bit different than your friends and maybe a little bit better?
I would say probably 7th grade is when I realized. I had been working out with a trainer since 5th grade, and my older sister had gone through the collegiate basketball process, the recruiting process, everything like that. And, I was also taller than everybody, so that helped a lot.
But yeah, relate. Can't relate.
Yeah, so that helped a lot. But yeah, I'd say 7th grade is when I realized I could probably, actually go somewhere with basketball.
Who did you look to as somebody that inspired you as a basketball player, whether it's a pro athlete or maybe your sister?
Yeah, I would say my sister definitely. Just having that role model and having that advice come from her going through the whole process helped me a lot. She understood the recruiting process. She understood how much hard work it is to be a student athlete in college. And so, I really look to her. We're still really close to this day and, still talk to her after every practice, anytime I'm frustrated. She's just been a great role model for me.
And now, in the present day, this past summer, you had the opportunity to be part of the Team USA basketball system and help them win a gold medal.
Mm-hmm.
How did that experience? How was that experience for you in terms of just being around other great players, competing against great players, and helping you grow and probably blossom in confidence?
Yeah, it was great. This summer, it's anytime you get to play with USA basketball, it's a great opportunity. Never take it for granted. But I think the most important part is just learning that you can have a different role. You come in there and everybody is ranked coming out of high school. You're playing with all these great players, and you realize you might not need to score 18. Whatever, your role might be getting rebounds and just, taking a charge, doing the dirty work. So that's what I kind of focused on. I think that helped me realize, everybody has a specific role on the team. And if you can just accept that, your team is going to win.
And when you look at this roster of players, there's some familiar faces back, right? With Chance Gray coming back and Philly Kyei and Kennedy Basham. But, you're all sophomores and juniors. It's still a young team. How do you feel like you guys are starting to learn to play together?
Yeah, I think it took a while. I think I always reference our foreign tour helped us get a little chemistry and everything like that early, so that helped a lot. But we're definitely all still learning. We're all really young, trying to listen to the people that are older, the people that know, like Kennedy Williams, the people who have that experience. They're helping a lot, and we're just taking it day by day, learning what we can.
And how about the freshman, somebody like Sophia Bell, who's able to come in and be an anchor defensively and shoot the way she is? How has she been able to fit into the team so well?
Oh, she's been great. She never takes a play off. She's hustling all over the floor at times. She's guarding 3 people on the court. And, it's just something to see. She just works hard for everything she gets, and it's really inspiring. It makes all of us want to work hard, too.
And you look to the rest of the season now. Do you have any personal goals that you'd like to achieve for the rest of the season?
I would say I'm going to continue to work on getting my rebounds up. I'd like to be, averaging 9, 10. So that's what I'm going to keep working on.
And as a team, the rebounding has been something that coaches talked so much about. And you rebounded well against USC, had the rebound advantage. How do you think the team has improved in its rebounding? Because sometimes it feels like it's simple. Say, box out, get a body on somebody.
Right.
But it can be a little more than that. How has the team gotten better in that category?
Yeah, I think we've improved. I think there's still a lot of improvement to do, but, we play that zone, and sometimes it's hard to find somebody. It's kind of all comes down to communication, just talking about I'll box out the low person, you take the high person. I think that's what we need to continue to work on, but it's definitely improving.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate your time. I know it got back late from L.A., so you coming in studio and talking with us. Really appreciate it, and we're looking forward to talking with you again and following you the rest of the season. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
First Tip-Off Tuesday with Chris Clayton. First Tip-Off Tuesday this year for Grace VanSlooten. Again, Chris is filling in for our guy Terry Johns this year on women's basketball. He's done a great job so far, and I loved that Coach Graves welcomed him to the show. That was awesome. Earlier this week, Coach Graves said, "Hey, welcome to the show to you." It was great. Awesome moment from Coach Graves. I really appreciate him doing that. We are going to try to get Kelly Graves' interview for you figured out in our system. We also have Phillipina Kyei, and I will say I think Phillipina Kyei's development has been a huge bonus point for Oregon women's basketball this year. They've taken their lumps. They've had their injuries, but when she plays really well inside and is starting to get a little more confidence, I think Oregon feels pretty good about their post play, and a big reason for it is Philly Kyei. We'll talk about that coming up. Also, men's basketball, some notes after Cal's win over Colorado. We'll hear from Coach Altman as well. Indoor track and field in action. It's a Friday. It's Duck Insider. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
This is Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Into the building for the first time after the shooting. It was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because feeling full can sound like this.
How did the interview go? I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
And like this.
Mom, I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/act now. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. All right, so the Quack video team, which is, by the way, very difficult to say. I only use it sparingly because it is so difficult to say. But the Quack video team, Caden Knight, Scott, we think that Kelly Graves is ready for you now. We're all going to find out together. Ready? Let's hear from Coach Graves ahead of tip-off tonight at Matthew Knight Arena. The Ducks facing Arizona State at 7 o'clock, televised on Pac-12 Oregon, 6:30 pregame across the Oregon Sports Network. Kelly Graves.
All right. Who's going?
Looking forward to being back home this weekend and benefiting from that maybe a little bit.
Well,
very much looking forward to being
We're
back.
officially in the middle of a mystery. Because the Coach Graves file plays totally fine, and then it doesn't. So apparently we're just destined to not hear from Coach Graves today. In all seriousness, I apologize, and we're going to try to do our best to figure out what's going on with that. In the meantime, moving on to men's basketball, and then we'll hear a little bit more from Coach Graves later once we can get it sorted out. We'll return to women's basketball. First, though, let's talk a little bit about the men. So some Cal notes after that Colorado game, if I could. So remember earlier this week I was talking about how you're going to find out a lot about a Cal team that just came back from a losing streak in conference games that was in the double digits. Then they beat UCLA. Well, UCLA's got a lot going on right now. You know, look, if you follow college basketball, you know what I'm talking about. They've got some problems. Well, then they're playing a really good Colorado team, and they're back at home. A little bit of momentum, maybe, if you're the Cal Golden Bears. They were down by as many as 20 points. Cal ended up coming back and winning that game. Largest comeback when trailing at any point in a game on record going back in the Pac-12 era. Largest comeback they've had. Pretty wild. They trailed by as many as 20 in the first half. They trailed by 14 at the half. Largest comeback since 2009 when they trailed by 14 to Stanford and ended up winning. It's their second straight win, and it's the first time that they've won consecutive conference games in the last couple years, actually. And the second straight win versus Colorado. So maybe it's just that that Cal has Colorado's number. I don't know. But the point I'm making is that this is a Cal team that I would have really rather Oregon played like 2 weeks ago. I think they've gotten some guys back, which they have from injury, and they've started to settle into what they are a little bit. They're not turning the ball over. They're hitting threes at a high clip. Does that sound a little bit familiar? Oregon not turning the ball over, hitting threes at a good clip. And then the Ducks have been pretty doggone good over the last couple weeks. They're coming off a game where they made at least 10 three-pointers. And it's the 7th game this season where they've made at least 10 three-pointers. But I will say, just the one oddity to all this, that Cal has maybe figured it out. Cal is 9-2 at home against Colorado in the last 11 games in the Pac-12 era. What is it? Is Cal Colorado's Oregon's Colorado? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, Oregon, it took forever to get a win in Boulder. And now I'm reading this from the Pac-12 research crew, and I'm going, well, wait. Why? Why is Cal always good against Colorado? They're 9-2 at home against the Buffs in the Pac-12 era. Cal has not been good overall the last few years. I don't know. So has Cal figured a few things out? Yeah. But also maybe it was just a good matchup, and it has been. Confidence of Cal against Colorado, because much like Oregon doesn't win at Colorado, Colorado apparently just doesn't win at Cal. See what happens. They've got a few guys, though, that can really hit the three. Jalen Tyson will be coming off a 30-point performance. So this is a bigger matchup, I think, than maybe any of us thought coming into this game. So fill up Matthew Knight Arena. I'm telling you, the Ducks are going to need you at Matthew Knight Arena, because Oregon is facing a Cal team that's probably a little bit better than we all thought. All right, we're going to get a timeout. When we come back, we'll try to sort out what's going on with Kelly Graves, have you hear from him later on in the show. And then we've got a long conversation with Coach Altman, our first tip-off Tuesday. Let's get a timeout, come back, get ready for some men's basketball and women's basketball, both at Matthew Knight Arena this weekend. We'll just camp out at MKA. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you, because Toyota's got 22 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/23.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you, because Toyota's got 22 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/23.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container, because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
My simple solution to the problem was remove people from the scene and help them feel safer.
In response to attacks against Asian Americans, Maddie Park raised over $250,000 to donate cab rides to the Asian community.
There is so much more work to be done. We really need to come together and tackle this issue as a community.
Support the Asian community. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. You're working on getting Coach Graves fixed for you, so we'll have that later on in the show. My apologies. Computers suck. Can we all agree? Just every now and then you're like, what is going on? So you know what? To go inside the broadcast a little bit. When we play the Coach Graves file in anything except our show system, it sounds great. So I have these socks, and I would just like to have a moment where we just wring something out of frustration. We're hopefully going to get it fixed for you. In the meantime, though, I was going to let you listen to Coach Altman this week. He and I sat down. We had a nice conversation from Tip-Off Tuesday about the weekend that was, and I kind of honestly went through the roster with him. Like, what has he seen from each guy? Good conversation from Tip-Off Tuesday with Coach Altman this week. Coach, coming off a successful start to conference play, start generally for us. Review the season so far to this point. What have you seen from your team with some ups and downs throughout the year?
Yeah, it's been an interesting November, December, early January, fighting some injuries, which have slowed our progress a little bit. But overall, the guys have worked really hard. Been very coachable, been fun to work with. He had a disappointing couple neutral games, didn't play well in Florida, shot the ball okay, just didn't guard anybody. Syracuse had a lot of turnovers in South Dakota that really hurt us, but got off to a good start against Georgia. Dante dominated that game, and then Nate played well the next couple and broke his wrist. And then we had to play small, and the guys have worked really hard, and we've won some close games here, starting to shoot free throws a little better. We started off not shooting free throws very well, but we're shooting them a little better now, and kind of held on to a few games. You touched on winning in neutral site and close games, Coach. How big of a deal was it this past weekend to win those road games? It's always tough to get wins on the road. Yeah, no, road games are tough. We've been, in our years here, been the second best road team in the conference, and I told our guys that we let it slip here the last couple of years, not playing as well on the road as we have in previous years, and so. Our guys, I thought did what they had to do. They hit free throws down the stretch, got a couple big stops, a couple big rebounds, and those games, a lot of them can go either way, and they usually determine the season. If you look over almost any year, you see how many 2-3 possession games there are. Yeah, and makes a big difference. Well, and you're 7-1 now, Coach, in the last 8 that have been decided by 5 points or less. So that's got to give some confidence to a team in close games. Well, I hope so. I hope they feel like they can make a play. So many people always put it on the offensive end, but making a defensive play, a defensive stop, has just as much relevance. And we've been able to do that. We've gotten a couple defensive stops in the Michigan game and other games that have enabled us to finish them out. I did want to get into some of the individuals with you because it's the first time we're talking here on the Coaches Show, Coach. Let's start with Jermaine Couisnard. Had that game-sealing layup against Washington, and we were talking post-game that he's made a huge difference for your squad this year. Yeah, he has. We're just a better team with him on the floor. Defensively, our numbers go way up. Offensively, the ball movement's better. We have a better purpose. We ran that last play. It was – just he could take it over the ball screen. He declined it. He had the cleared side and got all the way to the basket. So, it was kind of, do I want to take the ball screen? He turned the ball screen down and got to the rim. But Jermaine's, about this time a year ago, he was joining us. Right. He was coming off a knee injury and surgery and got a late start and was kind of up and down last year because of that conditioning-wise, and he was just out 4 months. It's hard to bounce back, but he's done a great job this year, and we just got to keep him healthy and keep him going. His leadership, he's really trying to lead. The freshmen and that, he's talking to them and trying to get them to compete and stay with it. And that's what a fifth-year senior should do. Right. That's what. you hope those guys who have been there, done that, can give you.
And to that point, Coach, like leading, I know it's different for everybody, but it feels to me like he's really embraced it. Like did you talk to him about that? Is that just kind of he's recognized it? I don't know. It's a big deal though.
Jermaine and Dante were going to be the leaders. When Dante, went down, kind of got all thrust on to Jermaine, and I think he's done a wonderful job with it. He's embraced it. He's tried to talk to everybody. Comes into huddles, re-emphasizing what the coaches are saying. So no, I've got no complaints with him. He brings it every day to practice. He's got a great attitude. He's been a good leader for us.
Going through some of the other individuals, let's maybe go to Brennan Rigsby, Coach. He's hitting 48% from three right now. Just an impressive shooting performance from Brennan, another guy that dealt with injury last year, but has been a big boost for you this season.
Yeah, he has bounced back, sprained his ankle. I don't know how many times last year. He just had ankle problems all year and really struggled with it in and out of the lineup all year. But he's been a consistent shooter for us. I'd like to get him a little bit more aggressive on the defensive end. I don't think he's using his athleticism there nearly enough. But the guys are making some shots for him. He's knocking them down, and at 40, he is 48%. We got to get him some more shots. Got to find some ways to get him some more looks. But no, he's made a big jump, and like I said, if we could get him going defensively, I think he could really, make some strides here this year and obviously next year.
Going down the list too, Jackson Shellstad really has settled into a role in that starting lineup for you, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's done a good job. He banged up his knee there a little bit and was out 3 or 4 weeks, and slowed him down a little bit. But when he came back, he was anxious to play and has hit some big shots for us. Takes a few possessions off defensively, which I got to get on him a little bit about. But other than that, don't have to say anything to him. He's playing hard, making some shots, making some plays for others, starting to get a feel for our offense, and what we want out of every look. And so he's making big strides.
KJ Evans, too, continuing in the starting lineup. We've talked about how he's had some big-time games for you, both offensively, defensively.
He's made a big adjustment on his physicality. During the summer and early fall, he just wasn't playing physical enough. And, when the big guys went out, and he had to go in, he's done a good job. He's fought it a little bit. Still needs to get stronger. I think when he gets a little bit more strength, you're really going to see an explosion on his game. His instincts are good. His skill level's good. He just needs strength. He's young, and I think getting in that weight room, getting stronger, I think he'll make a big, big jump.
Mo Diawara, I know we've talked before about he just works his tail off for you, doesn't he?
He sure does. He, with Nate and Dante out, Mo saved us. So, no, he's been a great teammate, does what he can. A little foul prone. He reaches a little bit, but we need his aggressiveness. We need him on the boards. He finishes plays. He hits free throws. No, he's been a savior for us with those two guys out.
Now to the bench, how about Jadrian Bam Tracy, Coach? A guy that is versatile for you, has played some different positions for you at times.
Well, he's had to. With our lack of size, he's kind of moved into a power forward spot, and when we go small, he's done a good job there. He tries to guard bigger guys. He's been successful a number of games. Other times he's struggled, but in a lot of games he's given up, 4 or 5 inches, height, and he's really got a front and try to beat him with quickness. But no, he's done a good job. He's hit threes. He's right at 39% from three. So I like the progress he's making, and again, just a little better feel for our offense. Cut down some of the turnovers. He's making some good plays, but he's offsetting that with a few ones that I think he'd want back.
You talk about the threes there just for a moment, Coach, departing from the individuals. The three-pointer has been a weapon for you in some games this season, guys that are hitting at a higher percentage.
Well, we've got 3 guys over 40, and then Bam at 39. So Carrio's over 40. You mentioned Rigsby, and then Jackson. So we've got 3 guys over 40 and Bam at 39, and we got to get KJ up a little bit, but Jermaine's at 32, 33. So yeah, as a team, I think we're shooting them better. You know, we want to be aggressive from the 3. Hopefully, you know, we get Dante and or Nate back here, and we can throw it inside a little bit more than what we have been. But I sure like those guys when they got an open one and on balance to let it go.
You mentioned Kerry Oquendo off the bench. What a burst to the basket for you, too. He's hitting shots, and I feel like he's a real energy player for you off the bench at times.
He's given us a big boost offensively. I'm on him a little bit, covering some people. I tell him when he gets one and gives one up, that's, you know, a wash. You know, we need him to get a few stops, but he's working on it. You know, I like working with Kerry-O. I just, you know, offensively he's got so much confidence, which is great. You know, we need that spark off the bench. Just got to get him to use that athleticism on the defensive end and on the boards. He's a really good athlete, very explosive, good body, powerful. But we're just not using that enough on the defensive end and on the boards. And if he gets that figured out, he's going to make a big jump as a player and, you know, just his purpose in a game. And I think he's close. I think he wants to do it. You know, he made a couple good defensive plays against Washington State. Fell asleep on a big one, but, you know, has done some really good things offensively, starting to do some better things defensively.
And lastly, Keyshawn Barthelemy, a lot of experience in the backcourt for him off the bench.
Yeah, when he comes in, he's a stabilizer for us, you know, get some ball movement. He'll start shooting it better, just got to get comfortable. But, no, and defensively, you got to use that quickness, and when he does, you know, he's a pain. You know, he can get after some people.
Saw the debut of Mookie Cook, too. Glad to have him out there making his debut.
Yes, he did a good job against Washington. Really gave us a big boost in his 6 or 7 minutes in both games. You know, played hard. When that ankle fully heals and he gets in shape, people will see his athleticism. No, he's going to give us a boost off the bench, no doubt.
I know every fan wants me to ask if you have any updates on N'Faly Dante and Nate Biddle. You mentioned that you hope to have them back, Coach. Fans I know want to see them back out there. I know they're excited too.
Absolutely. They're doing a lot of dry work, conditioning work. Dante's knee seems to be holding up well with the conditioning and the dry work. We'll try to get him into some live stuff here shortly as soon as they release him. Same way with Nate. You know, Nate's injury being a wrist, he's been able to run and do some things that Dante couldn't do. But, no, both of them want to get back, and we need them. You know, we need that size. It's hard having 14 feet of players on the sideline, you know.
That's a good way to put it.
So, you know, we'd like to get them back.
14. I'm going to borrow that from you if it's all right on the broadcast. I'm
not sure who brought that up. I stole it from somebody, but, you know, they looked over at the bench and said, well, that's pretty tough having 2 7-footers sitting over there, 14 feet of non-production on the bench. So
puts it in context a little bit, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, lastly, Coach, I'll leave you with this. Just a little extra practice time this week with no Thursday game getting ready for Cal. Some of your keys to success, what do you want to work on here?
Well, defensively, we'll be working a lot. You know, in the national thing, our offense is right around the top 30, which, you know, you like that. You know, our better teams, you know, offensively, we've been in that range. Defensively, our numbers aren't good enough, you know, to be the elite or the better team that we want to be. So we're going to spend a lot of time this week defensively, trying to get some things hammered out, trying to get some guys to put a little bit more emphasis on it. You know, because of the media, because of girlfriends, everybody, you know, points, you know, offense. And
that's true.
They don't listen to old coach. You know, I'm about 8th on the list. You know, when you start, you know, they got girlfriends, parents, agents, AAU coaches, high school coaches. Somewhere down the line, you know, we got to get them focused on defense. So, you know, like I said, the guys are working. You know, they want to have a good team. You know, and the thing, they've been unselfish. You know, they really do care about each other. You know, everybody wants to play 30 minutes a game, you know, 35. But it's just not going to happen. And, you know, in our conference, when you have the Thursday, Saturday games, I think this conference, more than some, depth is very important.
Yeah.
Because you got to bounce back in a day. So having good depth and getting everybody healthy is going to be important. And keeping everybody unselfish is going to be a big factor.
Well, Coach, thanks for taking the time. We'll look forward to catching up with you pregame coming up against Cal, and hope for a great crowd. I know that can really boost you to a 5.
The crowd's been great and really have given us a big lift. The Michigan game and UCLA, USC. I know the players appreciate it. It just makes a great atmosphere.
Yeah.
The building's great and the facilities are great, and when you get good crowd, it makes game day a lot more fun.
Game day is going to be fun coming up when the Ducks host Cal on Saturday. 5 o'clock tip-off. I'm really looking forward to it. Hope to see all of you at Matthew Knight Arena. And I do want to say too, I've looked at the weather, and I see that it could be interesting. I'll put it that way. We'll revisit that subject in a little bit. More on this matchup between Oregon and Cal. Also, we're going to try again when we come back from break. We think Scott Phillips fixed it. If he didn't, it's his fault. We're coming back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you, because Toyota's got 22 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/23.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you, because Toyota's got 22 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/23.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Put your phone on D&D, that means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D, that means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Hey, son, how are you feeling?
I'm fine, Pops.
What's on your mind?
I can't explain it. Navigating without a compass, eyes waiting, started to wonder. Metamorphosis, loss of who you thought you is.
When your kid can't find the language, help them find the lyrics. Listen to the Sound It Out album and get tips and tools to start a conversation at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you in the Country Financial Studio. So we think that we've solved the technical problem with the Kelly Graves interview. We'll have that for you. I want to mention, though, we were even just during the break talking about the weather, and all of you that are coming in for the games at Matthew Knight Arena, hey, believe me, we want you there as much as everybody, but definitely pay attention. Give yourself a little extra time on the roads because it's a winter storm warning. Who knows what it's going to look like? I'm not a meteorologist, but I will say that when I get the alerts like a winter storm warning, I'm going to pay attention to it. Okay, I need everybody to cross their fingers. We don't know exactly what's gone on with the Coach Graves interview. Plays fine on my laptop. Drum roll, please. Does Coach Graves sound good to preview the games tonight?
Looking forward to being back home this weekend and benefiting from that maybe a little bit?
Very much looking forward to being back home. It's been nearly a month since we played here, and the road wasn't that kind to us, even though there were some good things we can build on. But, yeah, it'll be great to be back in the friendly confines.
Your group's shown some resiliency. I mean, that kind of bounced back in a way with the performance at USC, but some point, you got to be rewarded with victories, right? I mean, ultimately, that's the ultimate measure.
Yeah, no question. I mean, it was we've had a tough start to conference, 0-3, but when you look at it, the three teams we played, this is how tough our conference is. The three teams we played were 34-0, I think, outside of playing each other. So, I don't think a lot of people expected us to win. Even at our best, it would have been a challenge and a difficult trip, but we can't be satisfied with losing ever. But at the same time, there were some positives that I think we can build upon, and I did see improvement. And I think you mentioned it. I thought we showed some resiliency and toughness in that second game in LA.
Coach, you guys are 0-3 for the first time to start conference play since 2017, but you're able to turn that season around and take that team to the Elite Eight. What have you learned from that experience, and how are you going to apply that to this team?
2017, I don't know if you really learned much from that other than you just got to stay the course. You just got to keep trying to get better. We can't worry about what happened. We learn from it. We watch film and try to get better from it, but we've got to continue to look forward. And, there are wins, in our future. I know that. We just gotta play better. We have to make the most of opportunities. Friday night, I think, presents us a great opportunity. Even though I know Arizona State's going to be good, they're as hungry as we are right now. But that's the only thing we can do is just look forward.
How improved are they from last year? Obviously, they're in the same spot as you, 0-3 in conference, but already equaled their win total from last year.
Yeah, I think they're a good team. They obviously lost their leading scorer to an injury early, but I think they've rebounded from it. They play hard and they are organized. They're like us. They're playing a lot of zone as well. But the difference is their three games have all been at home, and we've had 3 games on the road. They're definitely going to be hungry. This is going to be a battle. But if we play well, I'm confident that it's a game we can go out and win.
Arizona State's at the bottom of the conference in just about every three-point shooting metric. How is that going to play into your strengths defensively on Friday night?
Well, we're down there with them, I think. So it's, I think either team that can, make some threes, soften up the defense a little bit, goes a long way. I think we're pretty good inside, and if we can make some threes and spread that defense out a little bit, I think it'll help our inside game so that we're not double and triple teamed inside. Something's got to give. One of us two teams going to have to make some threes, I think, if we expect to be competitive against anybody.
Yeah, how's Philly holding up to the challenge of all the attention she's getting?
I think she's doing great. The other day, look at who she's had to play in her 3 games. Beers at Oregon State, Rhea Marshall at USC, and Betts. Those are 3 of the top 10 centers in the country, maybe 3 of the top 5. And she did well against all of them, especially against USC. I was impressed. She was getting doubled every time she touched the ball. And so what does she do? She still has a nice scoring night, a good rebounding night, but she led us in assists with 5. She's really coming. It's not as consistent as we want it. She's still got to do a better job of finishing, but I'm so proud of her and the work that she's putting in. And it's not easy getting double teamed and sometimes triple teamed. It's not easy. I don't care if you prepare for it, and we do. Go out in the backyard, play your kids or play your brothers or sisters or play your, whoever. And every time you touch it, they run 2 players at you and see how easy that is. So, she's getting better at it, and I've been real impressed.
I mean, there's the fundamentals of trying to score against 2 defenders, whatever, but just the mental challenge, too, of how is she dealing with that as well, too?
Yeah, and in fact, she's never had a better attitude. I don't think. I think she's really starting to accept the challenge, and more than anything, I think she's starting to believe that she's one of the best players, and the numbers are bearing that out. Outside of her field goal percentage, she's been dominant in every other area. So, against some of the best. And now she has some history. She's starting, 3 games, held her own in all 3 games. And now she starts to go, okay, yeah, And sometimes that's all an athlete needs. It's just that belief.
As this team continues to learn and grow going into Pac-12 play, what are your biggest teaching points right now in practice?
I think for us it's just consistency. We just got to consistently have more effort. We've shown flashes. There was a quarter or 2 in UCLA that we showed some flashes. We just have a momentary lapse. Sometimes it's a minute or two, and that's when they separate. You know, at USC it was a great ball game until bam, they just kind of made some plays and we didn't. So we just got to be consistent. You know, you look at the first half defensively up at Oregon State, we looked terrific. We were on point. You know, but then offensively, about a 3-minute stretch at the end of the first half where we could have separated and instead had an 8-point lead at half, maybe 14-15, changes the whole dynamic. And then at, you know, second half, it wasn't working at all. And they went on a huge run and we didn't answer. So I just think consistency, game to game, possession to possession, quarter to quarter. And, you know, and like I said, we've shown some good basketball at times, and then we've played some not so good basketball. And as coaches, we're still trying to figure the team out as well. But I see improvement. I do.
Yeah, obviously a lot of new faces, and then even your veterans are relatively young. You know, Chance and Grace being leaders as young as they are. Would you say it's a hallmark of a young team generally? A lack of consistency?
Oh yeah, no doubt. You look at the players that were on the court at the end of the USC game. You know, we're going against a team that has 3 fifth-year players, okay, all good players. Now they had an outstanding freshman, and then Rhea Marshall's got to be in her 3rd, 4th year. I don't know. It seems like she's been there forever. And we're going with a couple of freshmen and a couple of sophomores and Philly. So yeah, I mean that's, you know, it's a process. We can't speed it up. You had mentioned that team in 2017. We started 3 freshmen and 2 sophomores that year. So it took a little bit of time, you know, and then they caught fire in the NCAA tournament and the Pac-12 tournament. You know, we hope that same thing can happen, but just with young teams, you can't, they can't grow up overnight. Okay.
Coach, have a good day.
All right.
Good stuff from Coach Graves. And hey, well done, Quack Video team. Got it done. We were going to hear from Coach Graves earlier in the show. Our computer blew up, but now it works. I mean, this is great. Like, good job, team. Glad that we could get through it, and thanks, everybody, for bearing with us through that. A lot of basketball coming up this weekend. A little bit of a look at women's basketball again when we come back. Our final timeout. Let's hear a bit from Philly Kyei when we return to the Country Financial Studio on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Women's basketball in action tonight as we welcome you back to Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. A 7 o'clock start for the Oregon women against Arizona State this evening at Matthew Knight Arena. Hope to see you there. Again, with the weather, just take a little extra time getting to the arena over the next few days, particularly tonight. And then tomorrow, 5 o'clock start for Oregon men's basketball against Cal. And the women will also finish their homestand this weekend with a noon start on Sunday. Oregon women's basketball taking on Arizona. The Arizona school's coming up. And a 3-day weekend for a lot of people. Hope that everyone gets a chance to enjoy it. A big development point for Oregon this year has been Phillipina Kyei. She talked a bit about her confidence, a few other subjects with the media this week as we preview Duck basketball this weekend with Philly Kyei.
How nice is it just to be playing back at Matthew Knight Arena here?
It feels great. You know, we haven't been here in like a month, so we don't get the juice enough, but we're happy to be back. So.
What's one thing you felt like you've learned so far through the start of conference play and the struggles you guys have had?
It's tough, you know. Pac-12 is filled with good players. Just remember, it's tough. You just got to keep playing through it.
You've been getting a lot of attention from defenses, obviously. How are you holding up? I mean, there's been a lot of chatter on the conference about just tough defense on post players, but mentally, I mean, are you keeping from getting too frustrated? What's that challenge like?
I mean, I take it as a good thing because, you know, usually if you have to get double teamed, it means you're good. So, you know, instead of taking it the bad way, you just got to figure out other ways to, like, play through your team.
Has that been kind of an adjustment just to, like, in your head, obviously it's frustrating when they send 3-4 bodies at you sometimes, but just being like, oh, this means I'm doing my job, I'm doing a good job.
Yeah. You know, with that, we've kick out, which we've been getting a lot. So, like, you know, if they double, you just got to kick out and hope for shots.
Yeah, KT was talking about your assist total the other day. Mm-hmm. As a passer, is that something you feel confident in, that you've always felt confident in? Have you had to work on that a lot? How do you feel about that element of your game?
Honestly, I did not know I was getting that much assists. You know, I just find the open person. Obviously, that was not my role before, but, like, now I've just kind of taken it in. You know, you're a passer, so, you know, you got to hit people wide open.
Is it something you've tried to put a lot of extra work in practice, or does it just kind of come naturally in the flow of games?
I would say it came naturally, you know. I don't pay too much attention to that, but, like, in a game, it goes out just like that. So,
Arizona State's a weaker three-point shooting team. How does that affect your, like, game planning and mentality on terms of the defensive side of the ball?
Actually, that's a good thing. You know, it's not a threat if they want to drive to the rim. Good luck with that. You know, that's all. That's all I can say. Yeah.
I loved that last answer from Billy J. Just, well, if they want to do that, good luck with that. Just well done. And I'm telling you, she has shown flashes this season of how dominant she can be. Might see that tonight against Arizona State. Two teams that are in search of a Pac-12 win. Oregon and Arizona State tonight, 7 o'clock at Matthew Knight Arena, 6:30 pregame with Chris Clayton and Bev Smith. Tomorrow, men's basketball against Cal, 5 o'clock start time. I'll have a 4:30 pregame show for you. Everybody be safe with the weather. Hope everything goes great, and we see you at Matthew Knight Arena. Slow news week here. Great stuff.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. He sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself.
For many